Welcome, everybody, to episode 3 of Bruh Moments. I am Mikey's over there smooching Child Peanut right on the lips, you guys. That's kind of inappropriate.
It was more of an eye kiss.
Eye
honestly.
kiss, yeah. Right on his little eyeball. Well, as you guys probably know by now, my name is Matty.
And I'm Mikey.
And today we have a wonderful show planned for you guys. So I'm very excited to get into the topics that we're going to be getting into today. Let's just go ahead and give a rundown of the topics that we're going to be talking about. First, we're going to be getting into the brand new NBA All-Star Game format that debuted a few weeks ago. Second topic, I would like to take a little deep dive into one of my favorite bands, the 1975. And for our final topic of the day, guys, this is breaking news actually. Bob Iger steps down as the CEO of the Walt Disney Company, replaced by Bob Chapeck himself. And we said when we started the show, we're not going to be talking about Disney stuff, but I feel like this is big enough. It pertains to not just the theme parks, it pertains to the films as well, because CEO in charge of literally everything of the company.
I mean, we're not ruling out Disney forever. We're just saying we're not focusing on Disney
Exactly.
like on some of our other individual channels. But when there's news this big, this is very big news. This will affect the entire entertainment industry for decades.
Really will.
So, but yeah,
very excited. Yeah, very excited.
Got some housekeeping stuff. I've moved from Bikini Bottom to Baby Nut's room.
Bunking in his crib.
I am. Me and Baby Nut. Or Child Peanut. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Child Peanut. I also got a new microphone. Very nice. It's the same one Matt has, I think, generally.
Copycat. Just kidding.
But yeah.
Yeah, and I would like to give an update here. I did receive my Baby Nut sweatshirt, so I'm going to go ahead and stand up. My Child Nut sweatshirt, so I'm going to go ahead and stand up and show it to you guys if I can back up far enough. Wow, look at that. Ain't that something, you guys? He's on my chest and he's very soft. I'm actually surprised at how soft this what is this called? Like a sweatshirt? I think that's like
a crew neck, right? Is that what they're called?
Something like that.
But like a crew neck, I think.
It's very
not
high.
Hoodie.
Not a hoodie.
Sweatshirt without a hood.
Hood.
Those ones.
Shirt hood. Well, anyways, I don't know what to call it, but
shirtless, hoodless.
Shirtless, hoodless. Very good. All right. Well, yeah, it's very high quality. I was really surprised. I would not recommend anybody actually buy this unless you feel like pledging $40 to this like disgusting corporation who's profiting off this abysmal, I don't even know what to call it, but yeah, it's really high quality, really soft.
It's a scheme.
It is a scheme, and I'm very disappointed. They did get me, you guys. I got by Planters Peanuts. But
after our last episode, after we stopped recording, Matt and I were talking about this and the fact that Matt was still considering purchasing even more products at that point in time. Just made me sad.
They have a Baby Nut plush. They have Baby Nut socks. The socks are like $15 though for just one pair. I would, if they were like normal $5, like you'd buy it like, I don't know, Urban Outfitters or whatever. I buy them. I'm a big fan. I'm a big connoisseur of fancy socks or like socks with patterns.
But I've gotten a reputation for my socks. Mm-hmm. My birthday was last week, and I just got a ton of socks for my birthday.
Perfect present.
Because apparently in the last year, everyone has noticed that I like funny socks. So I showed you guys last week. I got those SpongeBob socks. Today's sock update. We can make this a regular thing. Sock update.
Yeah, okay.
Sock update. I'm wearing flamingo socks at the moment.
Oh, I should have worn my flamingo socks. We could have been.
I'm wearing navy blue flamingo socks. Thank you to Jared, who got them to me for my birthday.
Well, I am wearing floral socks, you guys, as you can see here. Ow! Oh, I got a cramp! Ah! Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, that hurt really bad. Sock update. New segment.
Sock update. I'm going to crack open my pod juice real quick if you don't mind.
Oh my gosh. And we are...
Should I ASMR? Oh my God. Should I ASMR this?
Perfect.
Oh,
That was actually really loud. It hurt my ears. I'm not gonna lie.
wow, that was way louder than I expected.
And we are, guys, we're very excited. We teased it last week. Random product review. Stay tuned to the end of the episode. We have a big surprise for you guys. We have thick water here. I got the small one. Mikey seemed to prefer.
I think I ordered the wrong.
He
one.
got like a jug of like Gatorade almost. It's Gatorade-sized jug of thick water. But, the label's
like
green screening.
Hello, child peanut.
He's inside the bottle, you guys. He's in the thick
But
water.
yeah, I found this on the internet, obviously.
We'll get into it when
is-
the segment comes, but
But stick around.
stay tuned.
It's Fat Tuesday today.
Facts. I don't know what that
Every
means.
Tuesday, it's a Fat Tuesday.
What is Fat Tuesday?
It's like the day before Lent starts, but like
Oh.
it's like for Carnival or Mardi Gras, whatever you call it.
Oh.
Like in New Orleans, it's a big thing. They do like a cake where you put a baby, a plastic baby in the cake, call it king cake, and
Okay.
you slice it up and you see who gets the plastic baby. Not to brag or anything, but
oh my god! Wow.
I
He's
couldn't
green
guess.
screened out. Oh my gosh. He looks
That's
like a
horrible.
ghost.
That's horrifying. Oh my God.
Well, if you guys are not watching, you can watch on YouTube along to see our webcams. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcasting platform you use, just search for Bro Moments on YouTube, and you can see that absolutely beautiful baby that Mikey is holding
It's
up to the
completely
camera right
naked.
now. It is.
It's a completely naked plastic child. It's all
Well.
mine. I don't know if that means I get luck or something. I mean, I live in Pennsylvania, so like the Mardi Gras thing isn't big up here. But
Mhm.
we got a cake, so
Baby cake. Should put baby nut in the cake, but anyways, we do have, like I said, some amazing topics to get into. First topic of the day. I'm sure you guys, and I promise you guys, we said sports last week, sports this week again. If you guys are not big sports fans, sports probably won't be, maybe will be a regular occurrence on the show, but Mikey and I are big sports, football fans, basketball
we're gonna
fans.
keep you on your toes,
Exactly.
You guys are probably like, oh, they did sports last week, so we got a while. No, gotta keep you guys on your toes. You gotta be ready for anything.
Exactly.
And if you guys don't watch it, we're gonna do sports next week. Okay? So
Sports only going
you're on
forward.
thin ice. Welcome back to Bra Moments in Sports History, guys.
Anyways,
That
if you
actually be a
guys,
fun segment, but I won't talk about that.
well, if you guys are big basketball fans, I'm sure you all have watched the All-Star game that happened this past, I believe it was like 2 weeks ago at this point almost. 1.5 weeks.
like
I'll give it 1.5 weeks.
1.5 weeks.
Yeah. As opposed to the normal format that they did, they decided to switch it up a bit this year. So, Mikey, why don't you go ahead and explain what all the hullabaloo is about that happened with the brand new NBA All-Star game that happened?
So they introduced a bunch of new rules formats. There's a whole thing. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see on screen. There's a whole lot of stuff they changed. Part of it was to honor Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi. A part of it, I think they were probably going to do anyway. Nevertheless, I won't bore you guys with the details. But basically, the one thing is that each quarter, the winner of each quarter, so basketball, if you don't know, is played in 4 quarters. The winner of each quarter will win $100,000 for a charity.
Not like for themselves,
Which-
for a charity.
Yeah, for a charity. These guys got millions of dollars, so they don't need the money. But yes, the $100,000 for a charity. And I believe that in this case, because the All-Star game was in Chicago, it was Chicago charities, and it would be likewise for future All-Star games. But basically, this gave incentive to the players. Because previously, they had no reason to try in the All-Star game. So it was pretty much them just messing around, which could be fun at times, because there could be some cool like dunks and trick plays and stuff like that. But in reality, it's pretty boring after 1 or 2 quarters. By this game, it was by the 4th quarter, it was intense. And
It really
awesome.
was, yeah.
But the other difference that they made was in order to honor Kobe Bryant, who one of his 2 numbers was number 24, for the Lakers. At the end of the third quarter, the team with the higher scoring total, let's say they had 100 points, they would set the point limit at 124, and then the first team to get to that number wins. So if it's 100 to 95, they take 24 onto the highest point total, which would be 124, and then both teams would play to that number, like a
With
pickup game,
no
essentially.
scoreboard or no time limit. Just
No time limit,
whoever gets to
which
the score first
we'll
wins.
talk about our opinions in a little bit, but basically this forced there to be a game-winning shot. The specifics of that game-winning shot we saw kind of disappointingly exploited
Yes.
during the All-Star game. But Matt, what are your thoughts on the changes and how it went, how the game was?
As like a general sports fan, you guys out there, I'm sure you all know how it normally goes. Not just with like the All-Star game, but with like the Pro Bowl and the NFL too. The past few years, it's been really going downhill when it comes to like entertainment value with like the players actually, whether or not they're actually trying to win the game. Because when it comes to like at least like the Pro Bowl, like when they used to send them to Hawaii, it was like this big vacation for all the players who didn't get to go to the Super Bowl and everything. They get to party with all their other teammates from all the other teams. Pro Bowl was just like a fun little cap off to the end of the season, where they didn't necessarily have to try to win the game. But I'm pretty sure either way, the winning team would get some amount of money. But yeah, same with the All-Star game, I'm sure. The players didn't really have an incentive to actually make the game exciting for the viewers. Whereas with this one, it was very interesting, especially like Mikey said in the fourth quarter. It got really intense. There were more fouls called in this All-Star game than I'm sure in like the history of All-Star games previous, because at the end of the third quarter, and even in like the beginning of like the second half, you could tell that teams were actually trying to win this game, not just to like win the money for the charities or whatever, but it really did come down to a lot of competition between a lot of the players on both teams. And the fourth quarter was honestly some of the best basketball I've watched, not just in like an All-Star game, but like from recent memory. Yeah, it was a very... The rule changes were interesting. I was kind of iffy on them at first, and I'm sure in the future years there's ways that they can tweak the rules to make the game flow a little bit better, because I'm sure for some general audience members it was kind of confusing to have the score reset after each quarter, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, overall I was a really big fan of this the new format that they introduced. I hope they stick with it going forward, because it did bring out a lot of competition in the players, which, like I said, we don't normally see in these All-Star games.
All right. I guess it's my turn to talk. I like that the game now has incentive. It might have had minor incentives before, but I like that now there is something major on the line that forces like some actual basketball to be played.
Yeah.
Because the idea behind the All-Star game is that it's the best players in the world. So theoretically, it should be some of the best basketball you can watch. And obviously, the competitive nature of a game, even with money on the line, like for a charity, still isn't going to be to the same level as like a playoff game, but
Yeah.
it felt like a playoff
It did,
game.
yeah.
There was definitely, like the players were getting upset at calls and all of like there was some heat, some action going on there. As far as the rules changes, I like that it forces the game to end on a winning shot theoretically.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in this All-Star game, it ended on a foul shot, because it's a set point total. So whoever gets there first wins. And if that means it's a foul shot, that means it's a foul shot. I really liked the changes that they made this year and what they were going for, but I do think that they should adjust it for next year to have some sort of weird rule to make it so that you can't win on a foul shot. I like that they're embracing the pickup style game with like captains picking teams and a set point total.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go with that, just embrace it and say like, if you get a foul with however many minutes left, you just get the ball up top, or I don't know, something.
Mhm.
I think the game will always be exciting if there has to be a game-winning shot from scrimmage, not an undefendable foul shot.
Yeah, because free
Um,
throws are kind of like the most boring part of basketball, at least
yeah,
for
and I
me.
get why they're there,
Hmm.
but in a game like this, which while it is for charity, the main purpose is to entertain. Um, it's much more entertaining to have the game end on a 3-point shot, that's
Hmm.
heavily contested, that bounces around the rim one or two times. I mean, Anthony Davis, who was the one who ultimately won the game on the free throws, even purposely missed the first one
Hmm.
in an attempt to make it a little bit exciting,
Hmm.
even though it was still just a free throw, and he made it, and that was the game. Um, but other than that, I think that, they make that change. There could be some really great, infamous plays that'll come in the future. But other than that, yeah, I liked it. I like the idea that it took. Um, I hope that they continue the 24-point thing. I think it'll
Hmm.
be a nice way to honor Kobe Bryant. I
Oh,
don't
and they
think this
even
has
named
to be.
the MVP after Kobe, the MVP All-Star
They
MVP
did the
award after
Kobe
Kobe too.
Bryant All-Star MVP award.
Hmm.
I think that the 24-point thing, it'd be really easy to just keep that,
Yeah,
you know, as a way to honor Kobe. So I don't see any reason why they'd have to change that. 24 is a good number. So I mean,
the
I'd be
best
fine with them just
number.
keeping it. I would be fine with them just keeping it at 24. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, and again, very excited to see where the future of the NBA All-Star game goes, and hopefully this is like an influence to like the NFL to try and step their game up, because especially with the NFL, it's a lot of the linebackers and like the defensive backs will just sort of barely push on each other to try and get the sacks and tackles. So hopefully this provides incentive to the other sports
I mean, I
leagues.
get why they do that, because they don't want anyone to get hurt. But
That's true, yeah.
I feel like there's got to be another way you could do that, like whether you do like
Like flag football or
touch or
something. Touch,
wrap
yeah.
football, or I don't know. I mean, I get it sounds silly to say you're gonna send these 300-pound 6-foot men out to play flag football, but it doesn't have to be flag. But there's got to be something you can do to make the game at least a little bit more exciting. I can not tell you the last time I watched the Pro Bowl, because I just don't find it entertaining. And I
Mhm.
don't think a lot of people do. And I think the NFL has to realize, because they're all in it for the money. That's why
Sure,
the
yeah.
NFL does this stuff. They don't really care about the fans. They want money. And they
Mm.
could make a lot more money if they made the Pro Bowl a game that people actually watch. But
Yeah.
that's just me.
Yeah, and even I guess in like recent years, just briefly touching on the Pro Bowl, they've introduced like the skills showdowns, which is
Yeah,
really,
and they're actually fun to watch.
yeah, like the dodgeball
I think
game that happened. That was one of the greatest things I've ever
the
seen.
players try harder at dodgeball than they
The
do on
actual,
the
yeah.
actual Pro Bowl.
Just make the Pro Bowl an actual dodgeball tournament, NFL. But anyways, that is our thoughts on the brand new NBA All-Star Game format. We might even update you guys a year from now if the format sticks, if anything changes. But yeah, very excited to see where the, oh my god, that's horrifying, where the future of this goes. And that does it for our first topic. Moving on. This is a topic specifically requested by me. I would like to take a little bit of your time to talk about one of, I guess, my favorite band of all time, really. But let's go ahead and let Mr. Mikey here speak first about the
Oh, how
1975.
kind of you. I would like to start and point out that Matt and I make show notes before every show.
Mhm.
Just a basic layout of what we're going to talk about. One or two bullet points. Matt has written a 1.5-page novel about the 1975. Oh yeah, look at that. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see. It's so I'll be quick. Wow. Oops. I will say my little bit, and I will step out for Matt. I'm not actually step out, but all right. So the 1975, Matt's favorite band. I started listening to it because Matt suggested one of their songs for our Music We've Been Feeling segment, which I'll talk about that song specifically later in the episode when we do that segment. But yeah, I enjoyed that song, and ultimately, again, I'll talk more about that. But I started listening to more of their music, so I had enough to talk about this at least a little bit. I don't know much about the actual band themselves, the members, any of that. Still learning their songs. I've probably only listened to maybe like 20 of their songs so far. Probably just the ones that Matt has recommended to me, plus a few more. Excuse me.
Burp chuck.
The Pog juice. It's got a lot of sugar. Plus, it's like 11:30 at night where I am, so I'm kind of checked out. All right. But yeah, overall the band, I'm quite enjoying the vibe that they have in a lot of their music. Some of their songs are more different than others. Some of their songs I really like. Some of them I'm not as crazy about because it's not the sort of music that I traditionally like versus others. But overall, I do like the song, the most of their songs. Nice music to put on in the background while I'm working. Kind of just listen to when I'm just kind of chilling out. I will mention a few of my favorite songs that I've listened to so far. Somebody Else, which is the only song that I already knew before Matt introduced me to the 1975. You guys have probably heard it because it was a really popular song when I was out. It's Not Living If It's Without You, I really like. That's probably my favorite of the songs that I've listened to so far. Multiple times. I've listened to that one multiple times. There's a few others that I've only listened to once that I got to go back and listen to that might get back on the list. And also The Birthday Party, which is their new single, right? Single?
Yeah.
Single?
New single, yeah.
Yeah, that just came out like a few days ago. And I really liked it. I thought it was an opportune time to listen to a song. It was like, I've never listened to this band before, but they just came out with a new song. Honestly, I think that might be part of the reason I started listening to even more of their music, because I was like, hey, it's a new song. Matt really likes them. I'll try it out. And I really like it. All right. I'll see you guys in like 2 hours. Okay.
Yeah, so Mikey is a 1975 newbie, as some people might call him. I don't know. I've been a big fan of this band, not for a very long time. I can't quite remember when I first started listening to them. I want to say late 2016 to early 2017 is when I first started listening to them. So I wasn't around for the very beginning of the band when they put out their first album or their EPs or anything like that, like a lot of people are. But for those of you guys that don't know, the 1975, a British band formed in 2012, lead singer Matty Healy, guitar man Adam Han, Ross McDonald plays bass, and George Daniel, big man on the drums. The band has gone by many other names, which I'm sure if you 1975 connoisseurs out there, Big Sleep, Drive Like I Do. And yeah, like I said, I've been listening to them, I want to say, late 2016 to early 2017. So, of course, as it normally goes with a lot of the bands, I was going through bit of a breakup at the time, and I feel like this is a really good band when it comes to like listening, when it comes to like the music that they make, when it comes to like breakups and stuff. Like Somebody Else is like the perfect, or
quintessential.
Perfect, thank you. The quintessential like breakup, missing you song type of vibe. So you guys, I'm sure you guys all know the feels of how it gets when you're going through that kind of stuff. When you find new music, sort of sticks with you. It's very interesting to like look at the psychology end of that. But we're not gonna dive into that. But
Not yet.
But for me, it's nice I like to follow bands along and see their journey, see how their music has evolved from their actual sound itself to their lyrics. And I have to say, I guess I should preface this by saying, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of the 1975, but you haven't you've only probably heard of like their hit singles like Robbers, Somebody Else, It's Not Living, She's American. But I do feel like this band is one of the only bands that at least I know of who can flow through different genres of music. And I hate to use like the word genre when it comes to like music, which is a whole separate topic that we plan on touching on in the future. The death of genre, as you may say. It's very
Old Town Road.
Old Town Road. That's like a really good example of that, honestly. But yeah, so it's really amazing to me to see how this one band can like shift through all these different genres. And I'd like to point out a few songs to you guys, just to sort of take into example of like the type of music that they make, the way they can flow between different genres. I Always Wanna Die Sometimes, which is off their most recent album, A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships, a very British rock influenced song. You can sort of hear that in the music, and you can compare that to one of their more recent songs, People, which is off their new album coming out, which is a very, I don't want to use like the word, I can't like find like Marilyn Manson-esque like punk rock. How would you describe it? As like a punk rock Marilyn Manson-esque song almost?
Yeah.
Along like the harder rock type.
Harder.
Not
which
necessarily
is
Marilyn Manson.
This is the when I was talking about how I had different songs that I liked versus didn't like. This was the one of the ones I didn't like as much. And that's just personal taste. I don't like the harder stuff. Which is the same reason I didn't like the poppy song you recommended.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, and again, it's just all personal preference. I've got nothing against it as a genre, or as Matt is saying, a dying genre, whatever. But again, we'll talk about that in the future. But like Matt said, this band has clearly got a lot going on, shifting between multiple genres, which is why, for me personally, songs like People are more of a miss than a hit. And then there are other songs that are a hit. So it's all about personal preference.
Yeah, and I feel like this is another like example that you can use for like bands. If you listen to the 1975, you listen to like one of their songs, you don't like it. If you listen through their catalog of songs, you're bound to find at least 3 or 4 songs that you do like. And going back to the flowing of genres, comparing those 2 songs to a song like Lost My Head, which is off of their sophomore album, which is a very John Hopkins-esque instrumental with tons of emotion packed into only 5 minutes. It's really hard for me to name really any other band out there who could like flow through. If you guys have like any suggestions of like other examples of bands who can flow in and out of different genres so seamlessly while still making the songs sound like very distinctly like their own, like the 1975 songs sound very distinctly like the 1975. If that makes any sense, it's like almost like they invented their own genre of music. Is kind of like a way that I'm trying to phrase it, but yeah, it's very interesting to me. I believe this band has been the same lineup since they were like 13 in middle school, so they've all grown up with each other. They've all been best friends with each other. They've all, of course, tried out different genres of music from their previous bands, Big Sleep, Drive Like I Do. There's a bunch of other band names that they went by in the past. And for me, I feel like the real standout from this band is the lead, Mr. Matty Healy over here, a big man in the red shirt with the curly hair on screen. Not to be confused with Matty from Bro Moments. He totally copied my...
Practically the same level of fame we're talking here.
Exactly.
I mean, we got like 15 views on the last episode, so I mean...
Getting there, at least a quarter of the way. But yeah, I do feel like Matty is one of the greatest in my personal... again, this is all based on like my personal opinion because I have been listening to this band for such a long time. I do have such a deep emotional connection to them. I do feel like he's one of the greatest songwriters in my mind compared to like a lot of the other artists or bands that I listen to. He's not necessarily one of the greatest singers. He doesn't have like the flashiest voice like your, I don't know, Harry Styles or like what's like another... I mean, Harry Styles is like anyways, you guys get what I mean. He doesn't have like the greatest singing voice out there, but he puts a lot of emotion into the lyrics that he writes, into the vocals of the songs. I guess an example of really emotional songs that really resonate with me, a song like She Lays Down off of their second album is about Maddie's mom suffering from postnatal depression, saying how she couldn't love Maddie as a baby, and then of course talks about her turning to cocaine, hoping that would help. And I guess that could sort of transition into common theme with a lot of the 1975 songs. Drug addiction, Maddie's battles with drug addiction. Songs like Ugh off their sophomore album deal with Maddie's struggles with cocaine, as well as It's Not Living If It's Not With You, talking about Maddie's struggles with heroin. Of course, heroin being the thing that it's not living with if it's not without, if that kind of obvious, but yeah. Let's see, where did I leave off on my notes? Moving on to, I guess it's important to note that the 1975 make a lot of instrumental, or I guess I can't really find like a good phrase to like categorize it. I use like instrumental or like ambient songs, songs that necessarily don't have a lot of lyrics to them. If any, it's mostly just the music. Songs like Lost My Head, Please Be Naked, How to Draw / Petrichor, and my personal favorites, if you guys are interested, Menswear. I Like It When You Sleep, For You're So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It, the title track off of their sophomore album, as well as HNSCC. It's very hard for me to explain why I enjoy these songs so much. I guess it's just like the sceneries, like if you just listen to them, lay back in bed, and just like close your eyes, and just like the sceneries that they paint in your head, because they're just mostly instrumentals and music, not necessarily a lot of lyrics. Oh my gosh. Someone breaking into your house?
I'll be right back. You just
Okay.
keep going now.
Okay.
I know you got a while left on your script.
Okay. Poor Mikey, he's dealing with a intruder right now, but yeah, I do feel like these instrumentals are some of my favorite songs to listen to, just because the vibes that they give off. The sceneries that they paint in your head. It's really hard to pinpoint for. Oh my god, what is happening? Oh my god, he's got a lightsaber now. It's very hard to pinpoint why I like these songs so much, but anyways, finally, I'd like to touch on their live performances. Here's an image on screen of the sort of concert setup that they have all throughout when they toured the UK, when they toured the US. I feel like Matty being Matty Healy, is like the textbook frontman for a band. The way his personality translates to the live performances, he puts a lot of emotion, and he's very charismatic, I guess is the word I'm looking for, as well as the set designs for the shows. If you guys look at this images don't do it justice. If you want to see, like, there's a video of them performing Ballad of Me and My Brain live recently, I believe last year. That video, or I guess one of the videos that you find, will really do the stage production justice, because seeing this in person was one of like the greatest things of my life, because they're I believe like the big boxes on the top were only used when they toured in the UK, but they had this huge screen out in the back, as well as like their textbook triangle thing, like their logo, what they're known for, all the lights, and it's really beautiful. And I recently went to their show in Denver this past December, and it was hands down the best concert I've ever been to. And I've been to a lot of concerts, you guys, a lot of bands that I love, a lot of music that I listen to, a lot of live shows that I go to. I literally work at a music venue, so seeing the 1975 live, stage design, to the fans, nicest fans in the world, to Matty himself, really amazing. And I would like to touch, I think this is my last bullet point, so we're almost done, you guys. Me explaining my love for this band. The 1975, I feel like, are one of the few bands who have decided to use the big platform that they have to address certain issues within their music. Love It If We Made It was sort of like the theme of their third album, A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships, being a powerful social anthem about aspects from modern society, speaking from Trump to the death of Lil Peep, as well as including one of my favorite lyrics in a song. I'm gonna bleep this part out because it's a bad word. I moved on her like a bleep. Famous
Bleep.
quote. Bleep. That's the actual word. That's what he says. Not really, but a famous quote by, of course, Mr. Donaldo Trumpo, and I love that lyric specifically because of the way Matty explained why he wrote it into the song. He said, of course you can't say the B word on the radio, so that part of the song is going to get censored. He said, quote, if we're going to get censored, we're going to get censored for verbatim quoting the leader of the free world. That is the song in its essence. How weird is reality? I feel like that is a really powerful, at least for me. You guys might have different opinions, but I feel like including
It's
that.
It's not for me.
It's not for, okay, well, anyways.
It's meaningless to me.
Well, I feel like, at least for me, it's really powerful to, just the concept of, not to get into politics or anything, but they've also touched on climate change as well, if you guys are into that kind of stuff. And
if you guys are into
if you guys are into that, well, you guys know what I mean. But anyways, finally, the 1975 have a very deep catalog of music with 3 albums released so far. Their self-titled album, I think in 2014 they released it. I Like It When You Sleep, For You Are So Beautiful Yet So Unaware of It, released in 2016. And their most recent, A Brief Inquiry into Online Relationships, released in December, I think, of 2018. Yeah, 2018. December 2018. As well as the legendary EPs Face Down, Sex, Music for Cars, and I don't know what Roman numeral IV is. I think that's 5.
That would be 4.
4. That makes sense because it's the 4th EP. Word. I swear I know.
Roman numerals, 1 is 1, V is 5, and X is 10. And if it's like 1 before a thing, so like 1 before a 5, it's like weird. It's like subtraction, so it's 4. So if it was IX, that would be 9. It's kind of confusing.
Well, a little bit of Roman history lesson there.
A little bit of ancient Rome mathematics sprinkled in there.
Well, now I know. It's called 4. There's a good chance, like I said, if you decide to give them a listen, you'd fall down the rabbit hole. Find songs that you'll fall in love with. I didn't even touch on the music that they made before they were the 1975, like I said, when they were known as Big Sleep or Drive Like I Do, which are gems as well. Like I said at the beginning, if you guys listen to a certain song by them and you find it's not really your taste, I'm sure you guys will find other songs by them that you'll love. But yeah, that's my rundown of why I love the 1975 so much. They make great music. They're really great people. They really care about their fans. They haven't sold out or anything, contrary to a lot of what people say. But yeah, so that wraps up my little history lesson there of my favorite band.
All right. Now, who's ready to talk about the stock market?
Hey, stock market. Literally, because that's what we're going to be talking about next.
No, like we're not even joking. Literally, we're talking about the stock market now. But we are a little bit, but that's
briefly.
All right. Bobby Iger is out. Bobby Chapstick is in.
He's right here. He's
Disney
with us, joining us. Bob Chapstick.
Bobby Chapstick.
Just kidding.
All right. Disney announced on Tuesday. Also, all of my information from this data-wise is from CNBC. We'll link the article down below.
Yeah, and we should also note that some of this may change. Some of what I'm going to say, at least, is speculation.
Because we are recording this
literally the day this was
night
announced.
of.
Yeah.
So this is all fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh info. All right. Disney announced Tuesday that CEO Bob Iger will step down and become executive chairman through the end of his contract in 2021, effective immediately. That is the surprising part.
Yeah, that's like the big words that you need to hang on to. Effective immediately is at least for
Like
me.
this morning he was CEO, and tonight he is not.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bob Chapeck, who most recently served as the chairman of Disney Parks, so it is someone that me and Matt have talked about a lot on our individual channels. Parks Experience and Products will assume the role as CEO, also effective immediately. Iger plans to focus on Disney's creative strategy through the remainder of his tenure. When this was announced, shares of Disney fell about 2.5% after just a few hours. Don't know the stock market, but I know falling stocks is not good. And then we have a quote from Iger here that says, "With everything else falling into place, the time seemed right." And by this, he basically means his final projects as CEO that he really was focusing on was Disney Plus and the purchase of 21st Century Fox. And now those things are kind of wrapping up. So I agree that it was kind of his time to go, but I don't know if I agree how he did it and how quickly he did it and all of that. But Matt, what are your thoughts?
Well, I will say, I guess I should preface this as well by saying I'm going to go more in depth on this as well on the next episode of Matterhorn Mondays. See if you guys are interested in that. Hearing Jeremy's thoughts as well as Alex's thoughts on this. Stay tuned.
For those of you who don't know, if you don't watch our individual channels, that is Matt's weekly Disney related podcast. So they will definitely be talking about this.
We will be talking about this at length, but here, this is just like the bare bones, because I'm sure we're going to get more information as this, story develops.
But this news came out today, so we couldn't not address it.
Yeah. So
plus we needed a third topic, so it kind of worked out well.
Yeah.
I was like, Matt, I texted Matt and I were texting, and I was like, we really need a third topic if we're recording tonight. And then he just texted me a link to this. And I originally thought it was like a fake news article.
So did I. I literally thought it was like a joke too. Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, is this real? Like, there's no way this is real. And then I saw it was Chapeck who was promoted. And I was like, oh, this is fake. There's no way this is real.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what went through my head too. But it is very interesting, at least to me. I mean, it is worth noting. Bob said he was going to be stepping down either way. He extended his contract, I believe, 2 or 3 years, a few years ago, and he was going to be stepping down either way at the end of 2021, or maybe at the beginning. Sometime in 2021, he was going to be stepping down.
It was at the end of 2021. He said he was going to leave the company. We just didn't think that he was going to do like a gradual transition sort of thing. We kind of just thought he would leave.
Yeah, so, we all assumed 2021 is when, officially his contract would have been expired for being CEO of the company. Once Disney Plus launched, once the Fox deal was all sorted out, like Mikey touched on, that's when he would be leaving. But it's very interesting to me to see the timing of all this, just because, it's not 2021. It's 2020, you guys. And he's stepping down what seems like a year early. And
a year and a half, really.
A year and a half, yeah. A year and a half early. And it seems that this was pushed forward for really some unknown, at least for me. I like to look at this 2 ways. The rational brain in me likes to think, oh, of course, Fox deal is all wrapped up. Disney Plus, that's already all taken care of. It would be his time to step back, because those were his big projects, like Mikey said, that he was very focused on these past few years. He's been CEO of the company, so it would make sense for him to step back. But there's another side of me, the conspiracy theorist side of me, that likes to look at this and think, what is the reason behind him retiring, or I guess stepping down, so early and so abruptly too? Because like we said, this was announced literally at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday with no prior warning whatsoever. Whereas, like we said just earlier, he was already scheduled to be stepping down at the end of 2021. There was no, press conference called by the Walt Disney Company to officially announce this. They literally just tweeted this out. And that was the reason I found it. It makes me think something might have, like the conspiracy theorist side of me makes me think something might have happened between Iger and like the Walt Disney Company, which is kind of weird to say because Bob Iger is a very professional man. I'm sure he wouldn't do anything to ruin his reputation with like the biggest media conglomerate in the world. Was there maybe a scandal that happened and Disney is now trying to get ahead of this, pushing Bob out, pushing other Bob? It's very confusing, two Bobs. Pushing other Bob in. Was Disney Plus maybe underperforming and Bob was, I don't know, kind of scared how that would look to the
He was
shareholders?
just sad.
He could have just been sad, you guys.
Sad, guys.
Or, I mean, a big factor that might have played into this, was it because of the closure of the Chinese theme parks that have happened? And for those of you guys who don't know,
Temporary
closure, yeah, that is worth noting. The temporary closure of Shanghai Disneyland and Hong Kong Disneyland due to the coronavirus.
Isn't Tokyo now closing too?
I'm not 100% sure.
I thought I heard that. I will look that up. But I believe I heard recently that Tokyo.
Well, yeah, that could have been also been played a big part in that as well. So again, it is very interesting to see the timing of this taken into context of everything that's been happening. I mean, Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Land, for those of you guys that don't know, didn't necessarily get off to the hottest start when it opened at Disneyland. A lot of the crowds were sort of scared away by the fact of this huge mega land opening in little old Disneyland to, you know, a lot of people feared that Disneyland couldn't handle the crowds for such a big, extravagant land to be opening in the park, and that scared a lot of people away during the few opening months. But, you know, it's rebounded since then. What's that? Rise of the Resistance, the new dark ride that they opened. Smash hit with everybody I've been talking to. Everybody seems to love Rise of the Resistance. But, yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. And, of course, Bob Chapeck, you guys. The doom and gloom of the Walt Disney Company.
Bobby Chapstick.
Bobby Chapstick. I guess we should sort of explain, because I guess not a lot of people would know why we have such disdain for this man. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Personally, never met him. Don't really want to meet him ever. But I'm sure, you know, he's probably a nice guy. But just the way he's been treating the parks, because like Mikey said, he was the chairman of the Parks and Resorts. And it was interesting as well, because they did decide to clump together Disney parks as well as the products, and I think cruise ships as well. Products, experiences, Disney parks were all clumped together into one sort of, I don't even know what to call it, one sort of mesh, yeah,
conglomerate,
yeah. And Chapeck was in charge of all of that, and Chapeck didn't necessarily come from like a creative background. He wasn't an Imagineer. He was just a general, you know, businessman who found ways to try and make the company more money. And the ways that he found to make more money for the company came from budget cuts to projects within the Disney parks, came to lots of upcharge events like the Disneyland After Dark, $150 tickets, tickets per person if you already have entry to the park, as well as like some other upcharge events like the Tomorrowland. I can't think of any other examples, but you guys know what I mean. Budget cuts, upcharges, cuts to like staffing as well. It's just very interesting. As well as we got Pixar Pier was 100% a Bob Chapek, I guess baby is what you would call it. Not the most creative man in the world, whereas Bob Iger, you can tell Bob has a lot of care for the Walt Disney Company. He has a lot of respect for the man, the myth, the legend, Walt Disney himself. So it is very interesting to see why they would choose Bob Chapek to become the new CEO. I mean, I guess if you look at it from the shareholders' perspective, Bob Chapek has made the company more money, saved the company a lot of money with his budget cuts, but at what cost, you guys? Mikey?
My first bullet point says no bueno. Right, that's that. Bobby Chapstick.
Yeah.
Bobby Chapstick. I was like I said, I was definitely surprised. I thought it was fake for a while.
So did I.
I looked through multiple articles until I was finally like, this might actually be real. hopefully it's not as bad as people are saying. I mean, I think there's a lot of people on Twitter who are like outraged. I'm not outraged. I think it's
I'm
kind
just
of a bruh
disappointed.
moment. I think it's kind of a bruh moment, but
Bruh.
I hope I hope that Bobby Chapstick does a good job. Um, you know, I don't hate everything he's done. I hate a lot that he's done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I just I don't think he has the creative direction to take the company on as a whole that Iger did. I think that
Yeah.
he doesn't have that same knack for creativity, which is key when you're working for a company like Disney, where creativity is like 90% of it.
Sure.
Because if
Yeah.
you can be creative enough, then you can figure everything else out. I'm interested to see the role that Iger has now. As what is he now? He's the
Like the creative
executive
chief,
chairman.
something like that.
He's
Yeah.
he's a creative figure in the company. I'm interested to see how that goes. As far as what I expect to see from Chapstick, I think that the live action remakes are not going anywhere. I think they're gonna keep coming because again, he's a very business oriented guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's in it to make the company money. And if the live action remakes are making money, I know that they will keep going. They probably would have kept going anyway,
Sure.
but he definitely is not going to be the one to stop it. Um, Also, this is the part that worries me most is that nothing is sacred. No attraction is safe. Um, I don't think that he has quite the same
Respect.
I don't
Would
want
that
to say
be?
respect. I don't know. That sounds cruel, but he just doesn't have the same affinity
Sure.
towards Disney parks history as, say, people like Matt and I. And while we are on the more extreme end of Disney parks
Mm-hmm.
fans, I think a majority of Disney parks fans, even people who only go once or twice every so many years, still have the same affinity for your classic attractions,
Mm-hmm.
even if they don't do them every time. You still recognize their importance. Um, Unfortunately, I do not think that Chapstick has the same affinity towards that classic attraction sort of thing. Um, I feel like, unfortunately, certain rides that I find to be classics could be going away during Chapstick's tenure as CEO. What I immediately thought of is It's a Small World at Disney
Oh yeah,
World.
that's it. Yep.
Um, uh, Again, that ride is just so nostalgic for me. Whenever I go, that is the first ride I do at Disney World every time I go. It's just a tradition I have. My family's always done it since I was going as a child. It would just be devastating to see something so classic go. But I could see Chapstick having the ideology of like, well, they have one in Disneyland,
They have one
so
in
the one in Disney
Tokyo.
World doesn't need to be there. And that's sad to me. I think that's sad. I think it's sad that these classic attractions, and I know people say over and over Disney World or Disneyland is a museum. I understand that. I don't think it should be a museum. I don't think that rides should stay purely based off of their historical status. But rides like It's a Small World, Peter Pan, the Tiki Room, they have value. Some more so than others, but like people still ride It's a Small World. I'm going to use It's a Small World as my example, but this applies to multiple other rides. But people still ride that. It's not just sitting there. It might not be bringing in the same amount of money, but it is a good family ride. Not everything has to be an IP ride. Not everything has to be a thrill ride. You can have solid family oriented rides that people can go and enjoy and don't have to wait 3 hours for.
Mm-hmm.
Having a ride that has a 30-minute wait consistently that doesn't mean it's underperforming. That's a
Yeah.
good thing. Guests react positively to that sort of thing. And I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but I hope that someone good is promoted to his Chapstick's former position of the whatever the proper title is, the
Parks
chief
and resorts
executive
and
of
the
Parks, Resorts, and
yeah.
Entertainment. I don't know the full title. Josh D'Amaro just got promoted to Walt Disney World, president of Walt Disney World. And as much as I was happy to see such a great person get to my home park, I was like, finally, we got someone good. I would be happy if he got promoted. I think he definitely has a very similar approach as mentally as Iger did, as far as respecting the history of the parks while still creating new innovative attractions, some of which will be centered around IP. But overall, less focused on parks. I'm guessing there's going to be a decrease of original content. Even we're even seeing less original content now. There's been lands built on IPs and theme parks and sequels to movies. I think that's just continue. Whatever brings in the most money, not necessarily whatever's the most innovative or creative. But yeah, Matt, any closing thoughts on this topic?
Yeah, I guess it's worth noting that we're never going to see another Walt Disney maybe ever again, at least in the capacity of being CEO of the Walt Disney Company. We might see another Walt Disney-esque, creative man who focuses on the family, focuses on the entertainment of the guests, the happiness, satisfaction of the guests, as well as pushing the limits of technology and creativity. We might see that in maybe another company, but it's very clear, and I don't want to go off on a tangent. I'll save the tangents for when I'm on with Jeremy on the Matterhorn Mondays,
and I'll be in the chat going, I agree.
But yeah, it's worth noting that the Walt Disney Company, CEO wise, I feel like we'll never find another Walt Disney.
It's a business.
It's a business, and the way Walt ran the business,
it's gonna be run like a business.
Yeah, the way Walt ran the Walt Disney Company back in the 30s, back in the 40s, back in the 50s, up until he died in the 60s, was very non-business like. He liked to make a lot of risks, of course. Snow White being giving them a little smooch. Snow White being one of the biggest risks he took, the first full-length animated film, opening Disneyland again, another big risk that a lot of his brother, even his business partner, did not agree with. And he took risks. He knew the risks that would pay off in the long run, and he took those risks, and they did pay off, and it made him, a lot of money. It made him a wealthy man, but he also used that wealth to help forward the technology, used that wealth to try and help make the world a better place. When it comes to like Epcot and audio animatronics and the like digitization of like information, central computer networks, all that kind of stuff. Walt Disney and his Imagineers pioneered a lot of that kind of stuff. So very interesting. Bob Iger, if there's a conspiracy or not, there's probably not a conspiracy, but
there's probably not. He wouldn't stay at the company if there was something major.
Yeah, but it's it's fun to look into that side of things.
He's running for president, everybody.
Oh, yeah, that's another...
He's running for president.
Yeah, that's another theory.
No, he's not. He's staying at the company through 2021. He's not running for president.
What if he did, though? What if he did both? I mean, Trump still, manages his hotels and stuff, doesn't he? I don't know.
No, he gave up all of that control of it.
Oh, interesting.
But okay. Iger could do it. He's Bobby Iger.
Literally, he's Bobby Iger,
He's no Bobby Chapstick.
Well, yeah, I guess that sort of closes my thoughts. Again, stay tuned. We might update you guys in the future whether there are any new developments to this story. But yeah,
now
hopefully.
We're going to segue into our next topic, which is about this topic, because it's time for meme review. everybody.
We decided to
then we're
base our
looking at
memes off of what we just
Bobby
talked
Bobby
about.
meme.
And I guess this
Bobby
is
Bobby.
I don't remember where I found this. I think on Reddit, I think I found this. I guess Onward, the like Disney Twitter or like the Disney Films, whatever, Twitter was like posting memes like this of like expectation reality. You guys know how Disney's been the past few years, really trying to like cater to the relatable style of like memes and stuff.
Hashtag relatable.
Yeah, very cringeworthy in my opinion. But this is a very great example of cringy memes made by a big corporation who can be turned, or I guess that can be turned into, happiness for us because this got a chuckle out of me. Expectation Bob Iger, reality Bob Chapeck. And I like how they added the question mark after Onward. Onward? Is the company gonna...
Effective immediately.
Effective immediately? Yeah, and then we have this other one here. Oh, it's kind of cut off with a little border around the thing.
A bummer.
Yeah, prepare for trouble, make it double. It's a Pokemon meme, you guys, for all you Gen Xers out there.
Nerds.
Pokemon nerds. And here's...
I said Pokemoners.
Oh, Pokemon
nerds. I don't judge. Nerd.
I'm shaming the Pokemon fans. I'm sorry. Is it pronounced Pokemon or is it pronounced Pokemon? That's like a debate that we should have.
I did Japanese Duolingo on my own.
Oh, okay.
No big deal. I got like 3 days into it. I learned all the characters. There's like a bunch of them. And then I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to learn this.
Mhm.
But I think it technically, if it was Japanese, it would be Pokemon.
Pokemon.
But we say Pokemon.
Us Americans.
Don't quote me on that.
Whitewashing
I
history.
really do not. I take Italian in school, not Japanese. So I do not know Japanese.
Neither do I. But yeah, here's another meme. When your successor fires you to cut spending, that's totally something. I guess these are sort of like inside jokes to us Disney Parks fans. So a lot of you general audience viewers wouldn't necessarily get some of these. But yeah, if you know, you know. When your successor fires you to cut spending, totally something Mr. Bobby Chapstick would do. And finally here, thanks to good old Disney Dan, makes great memes, great guy. The real reason Bob Iger resigned so quickly is that someone discovered he's just a Frank Sinatra animatronic that went rogue, which is pretty funny in my opinion. So thank you, Mr. Disney Dan, for your memes. And yeah, do you have any thoughts on these memes, Mikey?
Yeah, I mean, these memes honestly aren't that funny to me in general. I think that this is definitely a very niche meme.
Yeah.
I personally wanted to review Ice Age Baby this week, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine, Matt. Whatever.
I want to
go
beat
with the
up,
topics of the show.
Beat up Ice Age Baby,
Whatever.
beat him to
I'll
a
just
pulp.
be over here kissing baby or child peanut.
Big ol' smooch. That's not safe for work. We're gonna get flagged and taken down. That's a child you're kissing. He's only 1 year old. Not even a year old. A month
He's
old.
0 years old.
0 years old. He's a fetus. But anyways.
Do you know what time that means it is?
It's
the time you guys have all been waiting for.
Okay, so I was thinking we could save random product review for last, if that's okay with you. Build up the suspension.
Yeah, let's build up the suspense.
All right.
Don't forget, guys, the thick water.
I'm honestly really scared to try this. I feel like I'm gonna barf the instant I try to swallow it because it's gonna be like water. But like it says the consistency of nectar or like honey. Nectar
But it tastes like water.
It tastes
apparently.
like water. Yeah, apparently.
We haven't tried it yet. I've had this in my room for like 2 weeks.
So am I. Very scared. But before we get into that, everybody's favorite segment, music we've been feeling. And before we move on to the songs that we're going to be recommending this week, we can go ahead and give a recap, a little old music review of the previous songs we suggested. So, Mr. Mikey, why don't you go ahead and start with what I suggested last week?
So, Matt here suggested the Me and You Together song, which is by the 1975 Have we talked about that band before on this show?
I don't think so. Kind of niche.
No, we should do that for a later episode.
Hmm.
No, but this song was decent. It wasn't bad. Wasn't my favorite. I didn't dislike it. I won't talk about it too much because I talked about the band earlier in the episode. But yes, it was not my favorite of their songs. Not in a bad way. Not like
Hmm.
saying like not one of my favorite in a bad sense. It just wasn't literally one of my
Sure.
favorites. But it intrigued me enough to keep listening to the band.
Yeah,
So it wasn't
yeah.
terrible in that sense, because I was like, oh, that wasn't bad. Let's see what other songs they have this year, or not this year. I'm so tired. It's like midnight here. Ah, this episode, I will be suggesting what is right now my favorite song of all time. Wow, it's
It's a
kind of
big title,
crazy.
yeah.
It is. At the moment, this is my favorite song. Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. Part of Led Zeppelin 4. There's the IV again. Second IV of the episode.
Yeah,
Led
yeah.
Zeppelin 4, which came out in 1971. So it's a bit of an older song a few years ago, 1 or 2 years ago, 1971. This song is like 8 minutes long. And I tend to find that long music is actually some of the best music,
Sure, yeah.
personally. Um, I love songs that build. I love songs that build. This is the ultimate build song. It starts off so like mellow and just builds slowly to the point that you don't even notice it's building. But if you were to play like 10 seconds at like the 1 minute mark and then 10 at the 8 minute mark, you would think it was two different songs. But because it's so long, it's beautiful. I'll kiss Child Peanut for this. Mwah, Child Peanut. But yes, I love this song. Props to my friend Joe for getting me into Led Zeppelin. Led
Who's
Zeppelin,
Joe?
my friend Joe
Joe
Mama.
Mama. Old meme.
But I actually do have a friend named Joe, and he got me into Led Zeppelin, who at the favorite band, um, probably are at the moment. Really into Led Zeppelin at the moment. But Stairway to Heaven, great song. Give it a listen if you've got 8 minutes to spare. Yeah, love it.
All right.
Matt,
Very nice. Well, I'm going to have very little to say about both of what I'm recommending because I'm very nervous to try this thick water. Um, but yeah, Mr. Mikey here recommended Electric Light Orchestra Concerto. I think I pronounced that wrong. I tried my best.
Concerto. It's
Concerto.
Italian. See, I'm taking Italian. Gotta correct you on your pizza.
Concerto for a Rainy Day. Now, of course, I previously known about Electric Light Orchestra. I think their song Blue Sky,
Mr. Blue Sky.
Mr. Blue Sky was in I think the second Guardians of the Galaxy. But
Correct.
yeah, Mikey mentioned about how these songs faded in and out of each other very pleasingly, and I have to agree. I said last week, I think, or last episode, that I'm a big fan of songs that are like, I don't know if like composed is the right word, but like made so they would continue into other songs. I'm a big fan of just songs that like fade into other
I mean, that's
songs.
why Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon classic album is
Sure, yeah.
often highly regarded, is because they all fade into one another.
I've actually never listened to that album, but I've heard that album goes well if you play it alongside Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. I don't know if you've heard that. Like just push play both at the same time. The musical beats hit the emotional beats at the same time, I guess. I saw one YouTube video, but yeah, big fan of Electric Light Orchestra. I have one of their songs in my playlist, one of my playlists, I think. But moving on to what I recommend. I could have recommended The Birthday Party by the 1975 just because it's a new song, but we've already talked enough about the 1975. So, have you guys heard of Tame Impala? Tame Impala is one of, in my opinion, the greatest musical bands, producers, I don't know, of our generation. I'm sure if you guys have not heard of Tame Impala, you've probably heard of one of their songs, one of their most popular. The less I know, the better. I think a lot of their songs were used in like commercials and stuff. But I'm big fan of Tame Impala. I've only recently started actually getting into the band just because of this album. Their new album, The Slow Rush, which came out on Valentine's Day, you guys. Perfect Valentine's Day gift. So yeah, if you guys are already fans of Tame Impala or already know of their music, you're going to be a big fan of this album. This album, I guess to put it lightly, for those of you guys who don't know what to expect, it's a mix of their previous music with a hint of Daft Punk in some of the songs. Older Daft Punk, not newer Daft Punk. With a hint of, I don't know if you guys have listened to Arctic Monkeys' new album, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. It's got a very 70s-esque vibe to it. Same with this album. So if you combined like all those three together, it'd be like the perfect baby. Great album. I recommend listening to it from start to finish. But one of my favorite songs is Breathe Deeper or Instant Breath, something. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyways, that goes for my music I've been feeling. And now it's time, you guys. I'm actually really scared. I don't know if you can tell. I'm really scared to try this. I'm really scared I'm going to choke to death on this thick water. I'm really scared.
In case I need to just...
I might need to barf, you guys. I'm not even kidding. But these are unopened. Mine's unopened. I think Mikey's is unopened as well.
Unopened. I don't know if my camera's going to be able to focus.
I see there, but... All right, so I figure we could both crack them open at the same time. So on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh,
I can't get mine. It's a husky boy.
That's kind of anticlimactic, but okay.
Honestly, I cannot get mine open.
I'm kind of scared to smell it. I'm gonna have Mikey smell it first before I do. Oh my gosh, he's actually struggling to get it open.
Guys, help. My hands are sweaty.
Oh god.
This would be so bad. This would be terrible if I couldn't get it open. Oh my gosh. I can't get it open, guys. This is so sad.
Thick water, too thick.
I can't get it open. I'm not weak, guys. I promise. I think.
Those things are hard to get open. Those are like the big Gatorade jugs.
No, but like I can normally get them open. This one, because I'm on camera. I'm just gonna like break it open.
Yeah, you can just like cut it with a knife or stab it through the top. Oh god.
We might have to take an intermission. I honestly might have to go down. Can you do that? Can you edit something out? Right,
intermission.
Intermission. I got.
So, anyways, how you guys doing? I have Snapchats that I need to open. My friend's asking me how the thick water is. Haven't tasted it yet. Have you guys played the game Jackbox Party Pack? I've been real into that game. I bought 3 of the party packs. I think 3, 4, and 5 I bought. 3, 4, and 6. I can't remember. Big fan of those games. Let me tell my friends that I'm actually about to get on. Because they're waiting for me to play Jackbox Party Pack. About to get on. And you know, I have this open here. I kind of want to pour like a little bit of it out into like the cap. Oh yeah, you can see like the cap. There's some of it like sticking to the cap. If you can like, if it'll focus. There's like some liquid there, or I guess it's not even liquid. If you can, maybe if I shine like a light at the right angle, you'll be able to see. If it'll focus. So yeah, there's some of the liquid, and literally if I turn it upside down, it doesn't come off. It's just stuck to the lid. I was just telling everybody about how there's some stuck to the lid and it won't come off if I like turn it upside down and shake it.
Oh, that's
so I'm kind of sussed out right now, you guys. I don't know.
All right, you want me to smell
Please smell it. I'm scared to smell it. I'm so scared.
Guys, if you're watching on Spotify, please go get a YouTube account. You need to watch this in video.
Did it smell bad?
I think I'm gonna throw up if I have to drink.
Okay, well, I have my Cardinals trash can here. I'll have it in my lap. I also have normal water here in case.
I need to get. All right, intermission 2.
Okay, intermission 2.
I need to get water. I need to be ready.
Oh god, I'm so scared. Alright, well, sort of discouraging. I was hoping it would just smell like nothing, because that's what water smells like. It smells like nothing. I'm really scared. I might have to plug my nose to drink this. I just got my nose pierced, so it'll be kind of hard to get to, like, plug my nose. Oh, shoot. This is the scaredest I've been. I'm more scared to drink this than I was to get my nose pierced or to get any of my tattoos. I'm not even lying. I threw up the other day, I think. I went out for drinks with some of my friends at Applebee's, and they made me try these, like, pickle shots, where it's like a shot of, I think it was like whiskey, and then just like pickle juice, and you're supposed to like drink the whiskey, hold it in your mouth, and then drink the pickle juice, and that's supposed to sort of like cancel out the taste of the alcohol. And I barfed all over the Applebee's bathroom.
Oh, okay. I just walked in and heard, and I barfed all over the Applebee's.
Oh, I was telling them the last time I threw up is when I tried pickle juice shots with whiskey at Applebee's, and I threw up all over the bathroom in Applebee's.
Trash can and water.
Oh, shoot. God. All right. One of us is going to have to... maybe if I, like, open a countdown, like, on YouTube, I'll play it through both of our headsets so we can all hear it. That way there's no backing out. Okay, so I'll do countdown.
I swear, if you don't drink this, I'm going to kill you.
Countdown from 10.
I can't smell it. I'm going to throw up.
I'm scared to smell it. Okay.
Wait, I feel like you should... Oh, we don't have time to smell it.
I can smell it. Okay,
That's
wait.
too fast. That's too fast. That's too fast to be counted.
It is too fast. This one was playing really fast, you guys.
10, 9.
Yeah, that's way too fast.
Are we
Let's
doing
get a
it?
slower one. Or I guess I can slow it down. Okay.
My heart is pounding.
So it's fine. I'll set the playback speed to 0.5.
I wasn't nervous until I smelled it. And I was like, no.
Okay, let's see
You
if
have
this
to
is slow
smell it.
enough. Oh god, hold on.
Oh gosh. I'm like
10,
genuinely scared. I'm gonna...
9.
I feel like that's good enough. I'm gonna smell it.
Smell it now.
What the heck?
We do have the same one, right?
I think so.
Water, honey consistency.
Mine says nectar consistency.
Oh no.
It might be different.
We have different ones.
I mean, it's the same general idea. So
Yeah, I think mine might be worse based
Oh,
off of how
God.
you reacted to yours. Mine tastes like literal throw up.
are you
Or
just like
Not taste.
oh smells?
Smells like literal throw up.
I can't describe what mine. It just smells like almost like feet or like plastic, like melted plastic with like a hint of just like unwashed socks for me. I'm gonna barf. All right, Are you ready?
How much
Are
do
you
we
ready?
have to drink?
a good
Like
amount,
one.
a gulp at least, like
one-
just like
yeah,
a shot. I'd
like
say.
you would take a sip of water.
Sure, yeah, just sip of sip of
Okay.
water. Yeah, enough where you can like swish it around in your mouth and like.
I don't think this is swishable.
I mean, you don't have to swish it, but like enough
Yeah.
if you're drinking water. So,
Oh gosh, I don't.
are
wanna
you
do
ready?
this.
Are you ready?
I
I'm gonna
regret
play this video.
Why
from
couldn't
the
we have
beginning.
reviewed fidget cubes again?
Fidget cubes? All right, we're doing this, you guys. This is happening.
Can
Let
they
me take.
hear the video?
Yeah, they can. I'll play
Okay.
it. I'll show it here on screen for everybody too, just so they know we're not bluffing.
Well, I feel like
Um,
they should see our faces big though.
That's true. That's true. We'll do that instead.
Yeah.
All right.
This is
Let me
fun.
take one last like sniff of it, like a big sniff. Get myself prepared.
That's so bad. That's so bad.
Good God. All right. Let me take one sip of water before. Cleanse my palate. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Let's do this. This is playing at half speed, this video is. So All right, no backing out. I don't know if it stops at 1 or 0.
What are we going on?
It stops at 1. We'll go at 1.
10, 9,
We'll go on 1.
Yeah.
8, 7,
Jesus.
6, 5,
1, 2.
4, 3,
Okay, here we go.
2, 1.
I have it in my mouth. Should I swallow it? I have it in my mouth right now. I'm gonna barf if I swallow it. Okay.
I had a piece of plastic in mine.
I'm gonna swallow it. I'm gonna swallow it. I'm gonna barf. I can't. Guys, don't buy thick water.
All right, so the idea of this segment is to review it. So what's your review?
I feel like I have to drink it to actually be able to review it. So
Did you swallow?
I did not. I'm gonna go have one more go at it.
I swallowed mine and then spit a little residue out and then gurgled some water and then spit some residue. I'm gonna
jeez.
bring this into the school and pour shots for my friends. They're all gonna have to drink thick water.
Okay.
They're gonna have to suck.
I'm gonna have one more go. I didn't swallow it because just the texture was disgusting. But I'll just take.
It
like
does
a big,
not taste like water, by the way.
If I had
It
like
doesn't
a shot
have
glass,
a flavor, but it doesn't have a flavor, but it also doesn't taste like water.
Oh God.
It's weird. I mean, like, if you want to try it, like, I'm not gonna stop you. Just like send me a video, you know.
Yeah, you
So it's
guys
not
at
for
Bro
nothing.
Moments on Twitter, if you guys are interested.
Bro Moments Pod. You
Bro
can't give
Moments
them
Pod.
the wrong.
That's true. All right. If I had like a shot glass, this would be so much easier. Because with this, it's just like.
I don't think it would be.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do it. I'm
I mean,
just
like,
going straight
mine
in.
was massive.
Oh, that's nasty.
It's so bad.
No. Oh. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Guys, please like this video. We're killing ourselves for this. We are. Sonny D, he's muted himself. So as Matt drinks his Sonny
That
D,
was disgusting. That was disgusting.
It's bad, isn't it?
Oh.
That was the first time in my life, the first time in my life that I have disliked a food or drink so much that I have been on the verge of.
I
have never
puked.
been so disgusted with a food in my life, and I've had some bad stuff.
It almost went up my
But
nose when I
wow.
like gagged. Wouldn't that have been
Who-
something?
Who would drink this?
I think we read in the reviews or like the description that it's made for like elderly people.
Oh, that
Like,
makes sense.
Maybe people who can't like chew or like I get you don't chew water. That didn't make any sense, but you guys know what I mean. Like older people who maybe have a harder time swallowing liquids. I don't know. That was disgusting. I have to say, displeased.
Well, if I can't, this is a message to my future self. If I am, when I'm old, do not give me thicket. I don't care if it means that I may die. I do not want this. Literally, there has to be something. There has to be another alternative, because there's no way that a person can
pull
just
the
drink
plug.
this. Just like there's no way someone could just drink this. Like just
Mhm.
as a it just doesn't make sense.
Thicket. 1 out of 10. I'll give it a 2 out of 10
Five?
for the experience.
5 out of 10. No, I'm just kidding.
5 out of 10.
I will give it a 1.5 out of 10 for the experience.
You know, I bet if I was sick and didn't have any of my taste buds, and
It
like
would
my
still be
nose was
bad.
clogged,
Nope,
maybe.
it would still be bad. It would.
I feel
still
like
be
yours
bad.
was worse than mine. Mine didn't smell as bad as,
Mine
as you were
smells-
describing
I'm
it.
I don't need to smell it again.
I need you to describe the smell to me.
You
Take
really
one
need
more
to do
whiff.
it.
Take one more whiff of it before we end the show.
I don't know how to. Okay.
Channel your inner Gordon
It
Ramsay.
tastes like if a sweaty fat dude was rubbing his feet over old moldy carpet.
Okay.
That is what it smells like.
Thick water.
Big water.
Would not recommend. I mean, if you guys are
Look
interested.
look how much I drank. I don't know if you can see, but like it was like
That's actually a lot. I'm proud.
yeah. Thanks. But I have so much left.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I can't like use it in like cooking or whatever. But anyways.
I'm gonna give it to my friends.
Okay.
Not really.
Oh,
tell
I'll
them.
take it to work and have my coworkers drink some. Anyways.
Ready
has
to
been-
drink, no flavor added. Oh, it's calorie and sugar free. So I mean, if you're on a diet, I guess try Thicket.
Win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
Good God, that was horrible. But
Oh, I need to go throw up.
anyways, that has been this week's random product review. Thank you guys for enjoying our suffering.
Now that's it.
Yeah,
We
that
gotta
wraps
plug our
up the
socials.
episode.
Forgot to do that
Of
last
course,
episode.
um,
At Bruh Moments Pod on Twitter. There's also a Google forum in the description below where you can submit random product review suggestions if you want to torture us more, but please don't. We probably won't pick it. Maybe we will. You'll have to see. Also, topic ideas, stuff like that. Yeah, anything like that. Also, I have my own personal Twitter at MadABTDisney, and my YouTube channel is Mad About Disney. Matt, what about you?
I have a Twitter as well. Twitter at not the burp. At I could taste
You
it.
have to add.
I could taste it when I burped.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Ooh. Twitter at Matterhorn Matt. YouTube Matterhorn Matt as well. If you guys are interested in hearing a longer discussion about Bob
Thicket.
Iger, about Thicket, about Bob Iger, Bob Chapstick, and the Walt Disney Company, stay tuned for next episode of Matterhorn Mondays. Yeah, I don't feel like I should plug my Instagram because I hardly use it, but anyways, yeah, that has been this week's episode of Bruh Moments with Matty and Mikey, episode 3. Thank you all so much for coming out to today's episode, and that's been a Bruh Moment.
Bruh.